So what comes to mind when I say climate change? Maybe giant smokestacks, pollution filtering into the sky, melting glaciers, maybe simply picture Al Gore. When talking about climate change, I imagine many of you do not think about the beautiful scenes of central Idaho. New research from the University of Idaho indicates climate change is impacting our own backyard. It's impacting something very close to Idahoans, something that's iconic, an iconic part of our state's history and a major factor in everyday life. The salmon. And yes, they are at risk. Here's Joe Paris.
The backyard of Idaho captures the imagination of outdoor enthusiasts. The beautiful trees, the crisp water flows, and a diverse wildlife population. Places like the Boise National Forest are picture perfect for summer activities, but they're also prime locations for research projects.
It is, actually. I'm very excited and very happy to be part of this field because we are studying how the physical environment impact the ecosystems.
Dr. Daniele Tonina is a professor and researcher at the University of Idaho in the Center for Ecohydraulics Research. Dr. Tonina is a part of a research team that just published findings about the impact of climate change in salmon habitats in Idaho.
What we really wanted to understand is how much this climate change impact the habitat of salmon.
The research looked at Chinook salmon habitats on Bear Valley Creek, a headwater stream on the Salmon River in central Idaho. The team's findings include points that many Idahoans would raise their eyebrows to.
What we found out is that as the climate is expected to get a little bit drier in our systems, so what we expect is not only the temperature to be warmer of the water, but also the summer volume of the water will be smaller. And that means also smaller volume of habitats in the streams for the salmons for both spawning but also rearing. And these two aspects has been very underappreciated on aspect of climate change on fish habitat.
Meaning, as climate change continues to impact Idaho salmon, habitat could be threatened in a significant way.
Is equal to a 20% reduction on rearing habitat and another 23% reduction on spawning habitat, which is actually very large compared to what it was in the 1960s. So it's a strong reduction, and it will be even stronger when we do projection behind the 2040 and we get to 2090.
So why should Idahoans care?
Well, it's very important for all of us, I think. First is because salmonids are such an iconic species for us, for the Pacific Northwest, and they have been living here for thousands of years. And climate change, if continued pressure to these populations, we might see a decline on the size of this population, which eventually means that fish in them will be extremely limited. And in the most extreme cases or scenarios, we can expect that some of the species, some of population of the species may disappear and not having trace any longer. So that's why it's extremely important for us.
And as we learn through climate change and extinction, once something's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, it's harder to bring it back. And we need to think they have been here for a very long time.
To be clear, there's not one simple action to reverse the reality, but that doesn't mean there's nothing that can be done. Dr. Tonina explains the scale of climate change, from a global scale to our own backyard.
Well, the first part is awareness. The fact that most of the time when we think about the impact of climate change, we think in areas where humans make a disturbance or some activity. But if we think in the central part of our state, where we do have pristine and wilderness streams, even those streams now feel the effect of climate change. So even where humans are not present there, now climate change is so global that it impacts them as well. And it's important for us to recognize that.
And I wanted to thank Idaho Fish and Game for sharing some of their video of Chinook salmon so we could show you more in this story. But really, all of this ties into a conversation that we had late last year when we spoke with another University of Idaho expert about the impacts of climate change on Idaho. A major theme here is that the region, the northwest region in the state of Idaho, it is seeing much different precipitation patterns, meaning situations like we saw with some of Idaho's ski resorts not getting enough snow. This is the same problem impacting the rivers and the Chinook salmon. Ryan, long story short, Idaho's not getting the snow and water they need, and as a result, ski resorts are impacted. And also, salmon, the available habitat for them is very impacted.
And just this morning, Supreme Court ruling against the fact that the EPA cannot get involved in some of these decisions that help stave off some of this climate change.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see where it goes.
Thanks, Joe.